Hi everybody, welcome back, and today we're back in the wormery. If you were here last week when we added more bedding to this, you would have known, you would have heard me say that I wanted to do an experiment in this bin. I didn't get a chance back then. However, today is the day that I need to add more bedding again, and I'm going to do my little experiment. So first things first, let's just pull away this plastic. So I've been thinking about this for a while, and I actually had a conversation, I can't remember with whom I did, but I've obviously, over the course of breeding worms, the one thing that is inevitable if you feed them certain things are these little seedlings that pop up. In this case, these are watermelon from my garden. So it got me thinking. My nitrogen source for my bedding is always used coffee grounds. Now, there are other people who use wheatgrass. They follow Captain Matt's thing where he grows trays of wheatgrass and puts them into his CFTs and his worm bags and worm bins. And it's a good source of nitrogen. It's also a good source of bedding and food because it all gets broken down. So, because I sort of put two and two together and got four. If this is fertile, no matter what you do, whether it's pumpkin or watermelon or whatever it is that I've put in, and it's, or you know, people have avocados growing and mangoes growing and God knows what else growing in their bins. So I thought, why can't I do microgreens directly in the bin, and then once it's all sprouted, turn it over and just dump and let them have at it. So we're going to try that today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add more bedding. So I prepped this. Oh, this is heavy to do when you're halfway up. Okay, so this is a big tub. This was the original mother bin. You can see there were some sprouts that I pulled out of it the other day, and it still grows even after you pull. So this is actually quite, it should be quite moist and quite wet. It is. It's not dripping like last time, but it's very, very rich. A couple of dry spots on there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to, it's just easy to dump. This is around 5 gallons of bedding. Try and evenly distribute that. I could have probably got away with adding more. Yeah, this is good. Lovely. These guys have been fed a few times actually, little and often they get fed. So this bedding is bedding that's been sitting around for a while with cocoa, peat moss, coffee grinds, gypsum, and hydrated with worm tea. Excuse me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull back a little bit of this, just a touch. I should just pull some from over here as well because it's not even. Although our little worm frames are great at leveling off the bed, which is awesome. Okay, so what is this? These are mustard seeds that I've had in the kitchen for ages. I mean, I use a lot of mustard seeds in when I'm making Indian food, and the downside of being a chef or having a food business is sometimes you just order stuff and you get, you know, you order something for the shop and then you think, oh, I need a bag for home, and then you forget that it comes in, you know, packaging for the restaurants, like we call it horeca, hotels, restaurants, cafes, catering, whatever. So I have a huge batch of mustard seeds. I've got huge amounts of everything, really, much to my wife's despair, because we haven't got space for anything at the moment. But yeah, so I've got these at hand. I've had them for ages. So I thought, why not? Let's try this. I've grown mustard seeds before. I'm just going to sprinkle it directly into the bed. I don't expect all of these to sprout. Actually, I don't know if they will sprout. These are probably a couple of years old, but they have been hydrating in this water overnight, which should give them a fighting chance. And if our friends in this CFT have anything to do with it, they'll start coming up and eating this bedding and turn it into beautiful castings, which will make this even more fertile. So that is that. There's a lot of seeds here. So let's see. I don't have ready access to wheat berries to do wheatgrass. I mean, I'm sure I can find it if I wanted to, but if I was to import wheat berries, it's going to cost me a lot of money. So until I find a good supply locally, I'm just making use of what I have at hand, which is what you should do, because the whole point is to keep stuff out of landfills and be eco-conscious. So I'm just going to gently cover them. There we go. And that is that. Now the next thing I'm going to do, because obviously I want to promote the worms coming to the surface, is I'm going to add worm chow. So these guys are hungry. I have to admit, I've been feeding them every day. Not much, just a little, a couple of handfuls just sprinkled on top. And every day I come back and it's completely gone. So just a dusting. The one thing I have noticed, and somebody asked me before, when I put large amounts of chow into a bed or a bin, do I have any issues with it or any troubles with it? And the answer is no. However, I have made an observation. If, for instance, there was a concentration of chow in the bed or in the CFT, and I wet it down and it starts to clump, the worms won't go for it straight away. I'll come back and the first thing I'll notice the next day is the worm chow that was light and dusted and fluffy is gone, and whatever is in clumps, especially if I've given it a lot of moisture and it's just pulled and clumped from the moisture, it'll be covered in mites and what are those white ones called? Springtails. So not that I mind, I just, as you guys know, I hate mites with a passion, even though I know that they've got to be in here and I'll never be able to get rid of them completely. So you just got to learn to live with each other, which is a good ethos to follow, in all honesty. But yeah, so if I want to not promote more mites, I just don't try. I won't heavily feed in massive clumps and try and dust it out as much as possible. So here goes. Guys, thank you again for watching. You know I love you. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you have found this enjoyable and it's your first time here, or even if it's not your first time here. I see thousands of people coming to view these videos and only a handful of you have subscribed, so bad viewers. I'm kidding. Hit the likes button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Be good as always, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Let's see. Tell me what you think of this experiment. Tell me what you think is going to happen. Do you think I'm going to hit any bumps by doing it this way? If you've done it before, let me know. And yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here in the next few days, if we're going to get, or in the next weekend, to see if we're going to get any sprouting. On that note, be good. I'll see you guys soon. Big love as always.